All right. What is up, y'all? Will here with Schedulefly. And this is the Restaurant Owners Uncorked podcast brought to you by us here at Schedulefly. Simple, web-based restaurant employee scheduling software backed by legendary customer service and all at a low price point. Legendary customer service, what does that mean? It means that nowadays it just means that we answer the phone if you call, but that's kind of legendary, but it really does mean that we are very dialed into that. If you go to schedulefly.com, you'll see a video on the homepage, and on that video, you'll see me talking. And what I do is I give out my personal cell phone number on that. It's this flip phone right here. I'll give it to you right now. It's 704-906-2031. Only phone I carry. So you've got that number. We take that very seriously. We have a straightforward software. It's easy to use, but if our customers need help, they call us and we answer. If they email, we respond. No chatbots, no AI agents, nobody that turns a customer service call into like, hey, I want to sell you more stuff. And that's it, y'all. We've been doing this for 19 years. We have over 5,000 restaurants. We've grown to that through word of mouth by taking great care of our customers. We're not venture backed. We're not owned by private equity. We're not trying to take this thing to the moon, some rocket ship. We're just here to take good care of our customers. There are over 100,000 restaurants right now today in 2026 that make a schedule on paper or Excel. If you're doing that, give us a shot. 30-day free trial. We're here to help. We'll make it easy for you. We'll enter your employees. We'll help you build schedules. We'll get you over the hump, and it'll be easy peasy. A lot of time savings, a lot of stress savings, a lot of phone call savings, better projections of labor costs. And frankly, your employees today, they want their schedule on their phone. They want it to sync with their personal calendar. They want to be able to offer up a shift. If they want to offer up a shift and have somebody pick it up, they don't want to call to find out when they're working. They don't want to call 20 people to try to pick up a shift. So make it easier for them. That helps you with retention, helps you attract good employees, and will make life easier at your restaurant for everybody. 30-day free trial, schedulefly.com, my personal cell phone. I just gave it to you. Call me, text me. Always happy to help. Enough about Schedulefly. Let's get into Restaurant Owners Uncorked. And this is repeat guest Amy Wester. It's been a few years. We did the last one up there in Asheville in person. Today we're doing it via this awesome technology we call Zoom. And I am very happy to have Amy on again. Amy, would you just...
It only took 3 years.
It's been 3 years. It's hard to believe. Lots happened since then.
Yes, it has.
Well, introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I am Amy Wester. I am one of the managing partners at Biscuit Head. We have 4 locations, 3 in Asheville and 1 in South Carolina, Greenville. And yeah, that's kind of it.
That's it. So, okay. Tell us about Biscuit Head.
Well, we've been open 13 years. We do Southern eclectic food. We are mainly a breakfast, lunch restaurant. We are open from 8 to 2 are our new hours, Monday through Sunday. Counter service. We strive ourselves on amazing customer service, and we just want to make people happy.
You said new hours. What were the hours prior?
We were open 7 to 2 Monday through Friday and 8 to 3 Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
That changed, I guess, after COVID. That changed.
Okay.
So about 3 years we've been doing it.
Okay. Probably since I was there. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was something like new. Okay. Got it. And you've got the 4 locations. So the one in South Carolina is Greenville, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I said it backwards.
Do you plan to grow, or are y'all going to keep?
It's been really hard on us the last 5 years. We went through COVID. We had some, dynamic changes within the business in between, and then we had Helene. So we haven't ever had a year where we've just recovered. It's constantly, every year has been hard. And so this year we finally feel like we're getting back to what we used to be. And so as of right now, we're just really trying to focus on ourselves. We lost our cannery 2 years ago in Helene, and we have had to try to reinvent ourselves yet again, um, with trying to see how that's going to work without that space anymore. And so I think we really just want to focus on our structure and the base and get us all back to where we're all happy and comfortable again without anything traumatic going on. That would be nice. So yeah, not right now, but in the future, we always want to be evolving and growing. So
So Helene was it 2024? Was
20
it?
September 2024, so two
Yeah.
years.
So we're
Yeah.
okay.
We
Got
had
it.
just finally recovered from COVID. I think we were finally back to where we could get our structure back in and put our procedures back in place and feel like we'd overcome it just for this to devastate us all over again. I am happy to say all of our locations are still here.
How many of them were? I mean, did you have flooding in any of your locations, or were
We
they
lost the cannery out in
just the
Swannanoa.
cannery's gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It flooded. It was right on the Swannanoa River. Um, we are yellow carded, which is so nice because we were still able to get our stuff out of there. But we are not able to rebuild. And so, none of our restaurants, it's unbelievable. None of our restaurants were hit. I mean,
Amazing.
obviously everyone was affected. We didn't have water for 52 days. But as far as the flooding, none of our restaurants were flooded.
That's amazing. Why? So I want you, yeah, those of you listening. So this was the Helene that hit the North Carolina mountains and just kind of sat there. Several years ago, you may remember that. Certainly, if you're from around here, you remember it well. 52. Imagine that, y'all. 52 days without the ability to have to run water through your. I mean, like, what? Talk about that. What did y'all do? Like, how did you
World Central Kitchen saved
world
us. I
world
mean, they
central
brought
kitchen?
in that water. They brought in
Yeah.
all the tanks all around town. My husband, myself, and Carolyn, we were running every day, filling up massive containers of water that we could run the restaurants in. I mean, some of them didn't open. I think we opened our last one 3 months after Helene. We finally were able to open the last store.
Okay.
But it was hard, trying to figure out how to navigate a restaurant without running water. But we did it. We made it work.
World
We
Central Kitchen. Do you know Eric Sheffer?
I don't think that I do.
He's got like Jetty Rays and Benny's.
I don't think I have ever met him. I'm pretty sure Carolyn's met him, but I
Okay.
don't think I've ever met him.
Okay. I had him. He's a customer of ours too, and he had a story about the whole World Central Kitchen and all the ways they were trying to get what. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
thank for
we were able
organizations
to
like
go
that.
in and get fresh water, and we would fill up for each of our stores. We'd fill up 10 massive buckets, start off the day every day with that, boil it, so that we had water. We would have stations in the bathrooms, that people could wash their hands with. We had sani stations everywhere. I mean, it was hard. We went down to smaller menus. It was not easy. We had to do 3 compartment sinks for a long time because we couldn't run the dishwasher.
Oh my gosh,
We
that's
did, we did, we switched over. Everything was into goes.
yeah, yeah.
We did single use silverware, single use containers. Everything was into go containers to make it work.
When did you? Okay, so man, COVID and that's all restaurants up there in and around Asheville. I mean, just a
Hmm.
double whammy. Right when you're getting through, finally, like seeing clear skies after COVID, this thing comes along. Um,
Yeah. And it's weird because you're still hearing about restaurants today that are closing because of Helene. You
Still
know,
today.
yeah, I mean, we're still having restaurants that just say, they just could never catch back up. They'd taken such a hit for COVID. They were surviving, but you add on another natural disaster that, I mean, we lost so many restaurants because of Helene that I think it kind of shaped a new era here in Asheville.
Are I mean, are you seeing other places? I mean, restaurants are always closing and they're opening. Are people opening restaurants there? Are you
Yeah,
seeing
absolutely. I
concepts
think that
come
that's
in?
part of what happened was, we had a lot of places that unfortunately left, and it's opening the door for a lot of new places. I mean, every day we're hearing about new restaurants that are opening and coming.
Good, good. How is everything in Asheville? I mean, what's like tough challenge with Helene, and there was a period of time there where I think crime was rising and things like that. At least that was sort of like the word around the campfire. What's going on in Asheville right now? Is our tourists returning? Is the
Yes.
economy doing all right? Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And the last time I checked in with the Asheville tourism, they were saying that this last quarter is looking to be really good pre-Helene numbers, which is awesome.
Okay. Okay,
I
good.
mean, we definitely took a hit. Um, the winter of 2024 into 2025 was really hard because nobody was coming here. I mean, there wasn't much to see. It looked like a war zone. The buildings are half standing, fenced up. I mean, um, I think we lost a lot that winter, and then this last winter was good.
Okay.
It wasn't the best, but we felt like everybody was starting to come back out and see us again. And from what we hear, this last quarter for this year is supposed to be pretty good.
Are y'all, I mean, how is business in general? There's a statistic that we've been seeing lately from the National Restaurant Association that 42% of restaurants were either broke even or lost money in 2025. That's like highly concerning. How is business in general for y'all?
We're doing well. Like I said, we got hit pretty hard, with especially, we own the building out in the cannery.
Mm,
So, that's taken a huge hit for us. I mean, it wasn't even really open to the public. So if we have to lose one, let's lose one that, isn't open to the public anyways. But we I am very thankful to say that we are doing well.
okay.
We are very happy with how business is going. There's definitely been a downtick, but that was to be expected with everything that happened here in Asheville. Um, we knew it was going to take some time for everyone to start coming back. But we are seeing that. We are seeing people coming back. So I think everyone took a hit, but none of us were surprised. And now we're all seeing the love and care from everyone around us.
Talk about that. Talk about the people around you and that support you because, Amy, I think, look, hmm, I got chill bumps right now. I have so much respect for you and your peers in the restaurant business, not just there in Asheville, just everywhere, that have small businesses that are not big chains that can withstand some regional, issue because they've got like huge economies of scale and whatever. The independent restaurant owner, um, the resilience, creativity, care, love, passion, uh, pull up your bootstrapness that y'all have is overwhelming to me. And I hear it it's why I love doing this podcast so much. Y'all inspire me because I don't think most people fully understand. I know most people don't fully understand what it takes. Most people couldn't get through what y'all have gotten through over the with their business. It takes a very, very resilient type of person to own and run an independent restaurant or a small restaurant group because it is always something. Sometimes that something is, you know, It's not Helene. It's not some big major event, but there's just always things happening that are outside of your control. But what y'all do so well, the ones of you that have been around and that will be around, and I think this is the difference between those that stay and those that don't make it a lot of times, not always. But I think a big part of it is you operate so much from your heart and you give so much to your community that when you need it, your community shows up for you. Is that a fair thing to say?
100%. I mean, I think that's what you really kind of get from independent restaurants is it's real people who, are depending on the restaurant to survive, to make a living, I mean, it's not some big corporation that you have, 500 restaurants around town. So if one is doing not so great, you're going to be just fine. For us, we're all in the same area. We rely on this area. And so when the whole area is hit, we all have to come together. And time again, the restaurants here in Asheville have done that. I mean, I can't, we, through the whole reopening and misinformation, all the restaurant owners were calling each other and talking like, well, how are you doing this? What are you doing about this? What have you heard? How are you holding up? Like everyone is just in touch with each other and it's just so nice. And it's, like if somebody doesn't have something, it's like, hey, they call up and like, do you have extra of this? Or can I borrow this until I can get a truck in? I mean, we really just, it's not that they're necessarily our competition. It's that we're all helping each other make it through. And I think that part of it is also, we have employees who need to pay their bills. They have to rely on us to be able to adapt and keep going, or they don't pay their rent or they don't pay their bills. And I think that when that was one of the main things for us when Helene hit is our employees weren't getting paid. They had to pay their bills. And so we put our heads together and we're like, how can we make this work? We opened up a second restaurant style in the evenings, just to be able to have hours that we could pay employees for,
Mm.
and we did it until we felt like we could reopen fully. But, it was kind of like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to, we're only open 6 hours a day. There's only so much we can have employees do. So we said, well, shoot, let's just do something in the evening, something completely different than we're used to, and we'll just run with it and get these employees working and paying them. And so we brought from all three of our Asheville locations to one store that we could open right away, and just whoever wanted to work, we found hours for them. But I think that's kind of how we all survived. We made sure our employees could make it through, not just the businesses. We all had to make it.
Mm. Yes, it is definitely a community of people who are there for each other, to help each other. Rising tide lifts all boats. Another thing about this industry that I love.
I can't
It
tell you how many restaurants were feeding people constantly for free for so long.
for so long. I always say that y'all are like first responders because anytime there's a disaster, um, you've got your EMS services that are there. You got your actual first responders, but who else is always there? It's restaurant owners.
Yeah.
You're there with food, money, time, like how, it's taking care of the community.
There's one story that sticks out to me. We were lucky enough to get a truck in. I think it was a week after the hurricane. And I don't know how we got the truck in, but we did. And there was a guy who pulled up with his child who was just distraught. He couldn't find any food. He had a little brand new baby. He needed milk. He needed, just groceries to get by for the next couple days. And so we gave him a gallon of milk and we cooked up an entire tray of eggs. And we said, you need to come back tomorrow and get more. Keep coming back, but we're not going to let you starve through this. And he just pulled up and was like, I don't know what else to do. I mean, he was just desperate. And it was so nice that we were able to just be like, you know what, take it, like come back. And that's what we told people, because it was only cash. No cards worked. So, I mean, how many people have cash that they could live off of for weeks? And so, we just told people like, come on in, like we'll feed you. You can't pay, We're not going to turn anybody away. We're going to help the community. That's you guys support us when we need you. We're going to be here to support you guys.
Amazing. Amazing. It is, I love this so much about, um, your industry and the people that run businesses in this industry. So I'll tell you, we've got this idea for this docu-series. It's going to take a really long time to figure out how to get this done, just time, money, and everything else, and how to allocate it properly. But um, I've written what's called a treatment. I don't even know what I'm doing, right? So I'm having to figure this out. You have to write like a treatment. But have you ever seen or heard of Chef's Table on Netflix?
I have heard of it. I have never, I'm sad to say, I've never watched it.
I mean, it's cool and all, but it's like Michelin star chefs or James Beard chef, which is great. Like they have neat stories, but it's not, to me, these are people that are not, or their stories that are not really as like relatable and approachable. Like, oh, this guy has this restaurant up in the backwoods in Montana and he shoots his own elk, but you got to drive up there. And it's like, it's cool, but it's like what, these are places that like people with a lot of money, can get to a lot of times and
Yeah.
think that are like very famous chefs or whatever. Awesome. Great. But what I'd like to do is imagine Chef's Table meets Main Street and tell stories because I have them. We got almost 700 episodes. I've got lots of great stories of people that have an amazing business, that love their community, that are loved by their community, that have a great story. And the idea is it's called The Independents. And it's a series about independent restaurant owners all around the country. And it's the goal is to get this out there so that the general public has a counter to Chef's Table. It's not saying that that's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But like, how about if I just want, and what people I think really want these days, more now than ever, is they just want authenticity and they want things that are relatable. And we're surrounded by AI and all this stuff that's like, yeah, that's cool, but like, that's not real. I want like real. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I will say this. Um, I hope he'll continue to agree to do this, but, there's a guy named Tom Colicchio, who's the guy who started Chef's Table. And Tom is like a very highly regarded, well-known chef in New York, also sort of like a celebrity chef kind of guy. But his restaurants use Schedule Fly. And I got this treatment in front of him and I got on the phone with him. He's like, this is interesting. How can I help? I was like, Tom, I know so little about what I'm doing. I don't even know what questions to ask you. And he laughed. He's like, well, do you have an executive producer? I was like, no. Do I need one? He said, you do. If you're interested, I'd be interested in being that. I was like, hell
Wow.
yeah. So now that was a month ago, unfortunately, and this goes ironically right to the heart of this story. That dude's flagship restaurant is called Kraft. 25 years. Kraft's been in New York City, a staple there. I mean, massively celebrated, well-known place. And 3 weeks after I talked to him, they closed Kraft for good.
Wow.
Couldn't make it work. It's tough in these big cities, like with these labor challenges and all that, like rising, minimum wage. Like it gets to a point where sometimes the legislation that is meant with good intentions harms a business to the point where the math doesn't work anymore. And that's basically what happened there. And he's closed Kraft. So I haven't talked to him in a few weeks, but I'm going to try to pursue that because I think that would be something really meaningful if we could ever get that done and get that series on, some network or whatever.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly think that I think that would be a great idea. I think people would flock to it. I would not like to be on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'd have to give you a lot of drinks to convince you to be on that one, wouldn't we? Y'all, Amy's in all my years of doing this, I show up a few years ago in person. Sometimes I take my equipment and do these in person. and she's all nervous. I had to talk her into doing this thing, and she's all nervous about it. She's sitting there with
I
a.
think it took a year of you trying to talk me into
Oh, it
doing it. And
did.
it just happened to be the HR at the time scheduled it and then just told me I was doing it. Otherwise, it probably never would have happened.
Yeah. And she whips out a drink and has to give herself a little a little something to help her ease her nerves a little bit
Had to
during
do it again today.
she's got one there today. She's got is it a Truly? Is that what you got? Yeah, that's so
Yep.
freaking I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love that you're willing to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and come on here and do this. Even with
Only for you.
uh well, Amy, um what's work? I mean, look, y'all have gotten through COVID. You've gotten through Helene. You're doing you're doing some things clearly really, really well to be able to survive that. What are the things, if you sat back and said, like, what are the things that we do real well here that enables us to continue to, I mean, obviously you had to be resilient and creative, but I'm talking about the foundational things that y'all do well, that are part of your culture, that are part of the foundation of your business, that you can go, this is what we're really good at.
I think we show up. And I think that that makes a huge difference. You know, we're not asking our staff to do anything that we aren't going to do ourselves. We're going through a hard time. You bet we're going to be right there with you going through it. We don't, I mean, if our staff calls, pretty much I will always answer my phone if the staff calls. I think that that goes a long way in knowing that we're always there to support them, always available there for them. They're never going through any of this alone. And I think that that really helps keeping our staff as long as, I mean, we have some people who have worked with our first employee we ever hired is still working for us, 13 years.
Mm,
You know, she's running one of our restaurants. We have a lot of people who have been in our store since we opened. And I think that that is, you know, us, you know, the partners and the owners, we all still wholeheartedly care and want to be there. And we still show up. You know, we still meet people. We still go in and talk to them and we still work shifts. You know, I mean, I think that that really helps. It also helps us to be able to see where we're lacking.
hmm
And we can correct
Yeah,
those problems
right.
quickly. And I
Absolutely.
think that that is what really helps keep it going because they see us doing the hard work. So they know that we're asking hard work out of them as well.
Leading by example.
Yeah. I mean, I really think that that a lot of people tend to get disconnected. A lot of people will come in once in a while, you know, kind of like a tornado, run through and say everything that's wrong. We're actually in it, you know. I mean, I haven't had I work a lot of weekends in a store.
Yeah.
And I think that that is a huge difference for people.
It absolutely is a huge difference. Where it becomes a challenge is when you decide to start growing. How do you scale that? You can do that with 4. Maybe you can do it with 5 or 6. And you get 8 or
Well,
10.
I
But
think the
I'm doing.
biggest thing that we learned because we're control freaks, so we don't franchise to anyone. You know, we have the 4, the one in South Carolina, we are still very much a part of. And that's been one of the hardest things for us to grow with because, you know, in Asheville, I can drive to each of the stores in one day. I can check on everybody in one day. I can't do that with Greenville. So, you know, we find ourselves sometimes just lagging behind on our checkups with Greenville. And sometimes, you know, we realize that when things start to slide a little bit, like, oh, we need to get Greenville back in our radar again. But I think as far as growing, is our biggest challenge is
Yeah.
it's, you know, I mean, for us, it's an hour and a half away and we can't be here all the time and finding people who care and love as much as you do is really hard. you can't expect everyone to feel the same way you do about a place that you grew from the ground up. And no one's ever going to be as affected when things don't go right as we are. And that makes it really hard to then trust people to run it for weeks when you can't make it down there. You know, we've had some great people, especially through Helene. We couldn't be down here. There was no way we could come down here. And so we were thankful that we had, you know, people who could manage it and carry it on, you know, but because of not being down here, you know, you do start to find some areas slipping that then you have to play catch up on.
Give me an example of that. What is something that where you would go and go, okay, this is an issue right now.
You know, for us, we've always been very big on, we want people to try stuff. We are eclectic. We are not your traditional sawmill, Southern style restaurant. And we want people to get out of their box. We have people who come in and it's like, I only get the same thing every single time. I'm like, okay, well, try something. You don't like it? We're going to switch it out for free. Like, all you have to do is come up and say, you know what? I don't really care for it. I don't like the gravy. Okay, no problem. We'll let you taste every gravy we have for you to figure out if you even like one of them. Like, we
Okay.
are very big on, we want you to like what you're eating. If you don't, no problem. And through the time, a little bit of that has gone away. And it's like, well, that's what you ordered. And it's like, nah, yeah, they ordered it, but our stance has always been, if you don't like it, we'll get you something else. Like, that's what we want. We want them to be happy. We want them to try things, you know? I mean, the biggest thing is my husband loves to give out tastings of collards because a lot of
Mm.
people have never had our collards before. And so he loves to give out tastings and give out, you know, collards to tables and stuff like that. And I think that that's really big for us. We have a bachelorette party. We want to give them donuts, you know? We have the firemen or the police officers come in while they're on duty. We're not going to have them wait in line. They're going to come right up to the register. We're going to get you taken care of because how often do you actually get to have a meal in between calls? It's that level of customer service that we have always stood by. And sometimes if you're not there checking on it all the time, it can slip. And, you know, that's the hardest part for us is walking in and seeing that someone has kind of changed how we like to operate and take care of people. And so that is definitely when we are like, okay, look, we're going to come back here a lot and teach you guys again our level of care.
That's part of it's your culture and it's your training, right? Like that's how do you do your training internally? Do you have an outsourced firm that helps with that?
No, we do all of our own training.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Yes, we do all of our own training. You know, a lot of times I'm in there, my husband's in there, Carolyn's in there meeting them while they're training. We do, I mean, we're always training. We are constantly retraining. We're constantly going over, you know, how we are, how we want things to be. I mean, every day, people who have been with us for years, we're still reminding them, you know, like if you're having a bad day and you can't be on the register, you need to vocalize that because we don't want you pushing through if you're not going to be nice.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
everyone has their days and you know, we just ask that people recognize, you know, like, you know what? Now, if it's every day, then we have a problem. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, if they just come and they're like, look, I can't be on the register today. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. We're going to switch you out.
Okay.
You know, just that kind of stuff. And that really takes one, I think a lot of experience to be able to recognize these situations, and two, a lot of heart and care. And, you know, that requires being present.
Hmm. Yeah. So you say you're not going to franchise because you're, as you said, control freaks. So
We had talked about it. We literally were having a meeting, I think the day before COVID shut us down about it.
oh,
And had COVID not hit, I think we probably would have moved forward.
wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in the process of coming up with all the manuals, coming up with the training, and then COVID hit. And now no one's going to treat it the way that we treat it.
It's a good point. Yeah. I mean, the thing about franchising is it I mean, it enables you to scale and grow faster.
But to
But
what? So what detriment? Like
well, that's the thing. But it comes with a cost. I mean, I was just talking to there's a concept you might know of it because they're down in Greenville. There's a place called Bohemian Bull. You ever heard of Bohemian Bull?
no.
Bohemian Bull. It's like burgers and beers, higher end, like high quality burgers and craft beer kind of place, whatever. They out of Charleston, but you know he spent gosh, Chad must have spent 10, 12 years kind of perfecting his one location and his model and everything. And then he started franchising 2, 3 years back. And he told me the other day, he's like, I'm not franchising anymore. I was like, well, why? He's like, there's just
How many variables?
too many examples of where the franchisee wants to do it their way. Like we have a system, we have a process, we have like, and they make changes and that changes everything about the brand or it changes our culture. And he's had enough examples of that where he's like, I just can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, we see it just in, when you hire kitchen managers, every now and then something gets changed and you don't know where that disconnect happened,
mm-hmm.
but it does. And that's even just under your own eyes that some of these changes can happen. And and so I mean with a franchise, it's just too many things can go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus,
Well,
I love being able to go into the stores and see people. And I mean, I still talk to the very first customer who ever walked in our door 13 years ago, still sends me pictures of his daughter, and we still are in communication. Those are the things that I love about it. And you don't get that with a franchise. You get to have meetings and you get to go over numbers and,
yeah.
that's, I don't want to do that.
What, okay. What else, what else do y'all do really well, Amy? What are the things that, if, and I'm saying this because, you got people that are listening to this that some of them are current owners. Some people listen to this for therapy. They just want to hear that they're not the only ones dealing with these crazy challenges. And then a lot of them are people that want to own a restaurant or just starting a restaurant and they want to learn from people like you that have been around long enough to know like, these are some of the things that I can also do. I mean, you've articulated that about your presence, leading by example, being in there. What are some of the other business practices, that you think if you were sitting down with somebody that was opening a restaurant, you say, these are the things we've learned, some the hard way that you need to be aware of as you build your business?
I think something that has changed in time. I mean, you have to think the four of us, when there was four of us, present, we've been doing this since we were 14, 15 years old. The
Mm-hmm.
restaurant industry changed
Yeah.
drastically.
Yeah.
Um, the way people act, the way people talk, the way people, deal with issues, that all changed. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things that you have to be able to do is, again, adapt. I mean, we adapt through all kinds of changes. One of those changes is how the environment, you know, that you have with your staff. And I feel like for a lot of our staff knows that they can reach out to whoever they need to reach out. We have our chain of command that we like, obviously, but everybody has my number. Everyone has Carolyn's number. Everyone has my husband's number, and if they feel like they're not being heard or the issue is not being addressed, they know they can reach out to us, and they do. And I think that that is huge. We sit down and we have a lot of conversations with the staff. If there's issues, we don't sweep it under the rug. We sit down and we talk about it. I force people to have conversations they don't. This is funny. I force people to have conversations they don't want to have, like you do.
Do you let them have a drink while they're having it?
Sometimes. Sometimes we'll do it after work. We'll sit down and we just want to have a relaxed conversation. We want to get to the reason why, we're having the conflict. I think that is huge for people to know that they have a place that they can voice their opinions. They can also, can also say that we're sorry and admit when we did something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times in 13 years of this, I have had to tell the employee, I'm sorry, I messed up or I made a mistake, and I say that and I even use examples because I expect them to tell me when they make a mistake because we all do it. And so I want them to know I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to bite your head off. What I'm going to do is say, okay, maybe next time, this is probably how we should do it. Like it's okay. You made a mistake. Let's just fix it right now and move on. And then this is how we want to handle it in the future. And I
Don't
think,
harp on what has happened, harp on what can happen going forward.
yeah, and I think that's huge. They know that I'm not perfect. They know I've messed up. I mean, Carolyn, loves to just let people know, like, look, no one's going to make bigger mistakes than we have.
Mm,
I mean, we make decisions that cost the business money
mm.
and we've made mistakes. And so she likes to use that as an example to just let the staff know, like, you're going to make mistakes. We expect it. Just, let's talk about it and figure out how to do it better the next time. But don't feel like you're not allowed to make mistakes. It's how you
Then,
handle it first. And I think that has gone a long way with our staff.
because you are building a culture of openness and trust, not fear. When you have a culture built around fear, um, not only will people make mistakes as they do, they will probably try to hide that mistake or they will be scared to talk about that mistake so that they can learn. And that's a really important part of what you're talking about here that I think this is a great takeaway is
And we've had those. And I think that that's part of what made us really learn about it is we have had people, who have made mistakes and tried to, sweep it under the rug or hope that it doesn't come to light. And it's like, we just want to know because we could have really helped you
right.
work through this and find a good solution rather than you just stressing over this for so long on your own. Like we could have helped you. Like that's what we're here. That's my job is to be here for when part of my French shit hits the fan. That's what I'm here for.
Well, what you've articulated, Amy, is that you're willing to admit your own mistakes. You're self-aware. I believe that's a big part of leadership is um, not letting your ego get in the way and be very self-aware that you're going to make mistakes too. And especially if you are able to, you have the confidence to vocalize that and verbalize that and say, look, I just made that mistake. I mean, I've learned that as a parent. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at my poor husband, my wife and my kids and be like, you know what? If I'm being real honest with myself, I screwed that up. Like, I have to. And you know what's so cool about that? I wasn't like that as a younger man. Big ego, like, I'm right, blah, blah. But it's very liberating, I think, when you come to the point in your life where you're like, I'm not perfect. I am going to screw up. And the quicker I recognize that and admit that, it's so freaking liberating because you're not holding into this like feeling of like, well, deep down, I know that was wrong, but I don't want to admit it because my ego is too fragile. Like, check your freaking ego at the door if you want to run a business and be a leader, because leaders that have big egos that don't, admit that, people don't, they're not going to follow that, especially this generation. You kind of had to 30 years ago. It was like, okay, the chef yelled at me and there's nothing I can do about it, whatever. My generation of children, my kids are 22, 19, 16. Like, I know that whole generation, they're not putting up with that. I mean, they're not buying it and they don't want to be there and they'll find somewhere else to go. So,
And it's learning that line, I think, between, really connecting with the employees and also knowing when you need to just make your own decision.
mhm.
I mean, you ask every employee their opinion, you're going to get 15 different answers, right? So when it comes to certain things, I feel like we are very welcoming to hearing their input and how they feel about it. And then there's other things where like, we're not bringing this to the table. This is our decision. We're going to have to make it.
Yep.
And I think knowing that line is big. And I always tell people, like, hey, if you think you have a way of doing something better, let me know. Like, we're always willing to try stuff out. And I tell them, I said, don't be offended if A, we don't try it, or B, it doesn't work and we change it back. But I'm always open to hearing other ways of doing stuff. And we've changed stuff after we've been doing it for years. And I can't remember exactly what it was that happened. We just had an employee um, come to Carolyn and tell her something that they had thought about. And Carolyn calls me and she's like, 13 years later, someone just told us to do this and it's amazing. And I was like, I can't believe we never thought of this in 13 years. And an employee came to us with it. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, how did we not even think about it? But that happens all the time.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, that's good that y'all listen like that, but also know when to say, thank you, good idea, not what we do.
Yeah.
So talk about, I want to say this, and I don't want you to talk about Schedule Fly because you're a Schedule Fly customer and we appreciate you. And I'm not
We love it.
well, I don't want to tee this up for you to talk about Schedule Fly as much as I'd like to know. One of the things I'm starting to try to get owners to talk about in here is what are some of the other tools that y'all use, exterior tools in your business that help you run your business better?
I mean, we're kind of small enough that we don't have a ton. We use Toast for our POS. We use Schedule Fly for our schedules. We use, I mean, that's kind of it.
What do
We
you
still
do
use
for?
Excel. We made up our own inventory sheets that we use, like we don't do a lot of it. Now, there's probably a lot of things we could use that I don't, but I mean,
But your business is running well. You're hitting your numbers, and what about like do you do social media or do you do any like how do you, other than taking great care of your customers and controlling what's happening inside your four walls, how do you create awareness?
we do social media. I think the main one is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We do. I use Facebook if there's any kind of closures or issues that we're having that I need to make local people aware of. We don't really do any paid marketing. It is
Yeah.
something that, we have done every once in a while. We have been very fortunate in that we have had a lot of really good press and word of mouth.
Okay.
I mean, with the economy going the way that it is, that may change. We're always talking about it. I feel like that for us, a lot of times it's just an added cost that we don't have to worry about and pass on to customers. We really are trying to stay affordable in an economy that's not affordable.
Mm.
And we choose very wisely how to spend our money.
There's I thought this is a really cool way that a restaurant owner I spoke to recently uses social media. Tammy Henderson, she has a restaurant down in Defuniak Springs, Florida. It's like an hour north of the coast on the panhandle of Florida. And what she does is, I just thought this was so cool. Every night, like kind of right leading up to service, she goes on Facebook Live and she's like, "Hey, here's what we got going on tonight," and whatever specials. And she starts walking around and like, here's Sarah the server and Bob the bartender and like hey, what's up? And like and she's on live, right? So people follow her, and then she's got J1 workers, these like kitchen folks that are from Jamaica, and she goes in the back and their families all tune in and they get to say hello to the workers. Amy, this lady's got like 10,000 Facebook followers in this little town that has like 2,000 people or whatever it is. Like, but I was like, what a cool way to engage an audience. Like, it's like 5 minutes a night, every night. She said that literally if she forgets, people will be texting her like, what's going on? Why aren't you on Facebook? I thought that was such a cool,
That is, I mean, the
like,
way that people are using social media is amazing. We are starting to have more of an online presence. It's, fairly new that we're really starting to try to get ourselves out there. Um, but I mean, we're learning about it, right? It's really sad to say that I'm still learning about all this social media, um, because it's been around for a while, but I think I'm learning how it can help businesses in a positive, but I also know that it can also be very negative.
oh God.
And
Yeah, sure.
um, I know that a lot of people don't have filters, and I feel like sometimes it scares me to be out there. I mean, obviously,
Hmm.
podcast talking scares me. So being out there in the public, is nerve-wracking to me.
Yep.
So as much as I know that it can be really helpful, I also worry about how much it can hurt.
It can. There's no doubt about it. Uh, I think you in a truly and a Instagram live or Facebook live would be
Nobody wants to. I'm not doing live.
that's my next plan is try to convince you to do that. So I mean that's a great best practice, but it's also something you have to like. I mean, you got to commit to it. Like she has to do it every night. She said literally if she doesn't do it, people are like, "What's going on?" Whatever. But you know what we're trying to do is I'm going to start this series called "One Thing I Learned From," and we're going to do these little 30-second YouTube clips. It'll go YouTube, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, and it's basically taking actionable, repeatable things from a podcast, like each podcast episode that other restaurant owners could do if they wanted to. Like that's my first one right there. Like, so our goal is to take content from these podcasts because it's great if you're listening to the podcast, it's awesome. But I had a guy tell me once, he's like, I love your podcast. I listen to it while I'm driving and I hear like three or four different things. I don't even need to write it down with. I don't remember where it was. I don't even remember what episode sometimes. And then I can't remember exactly what the thing was. He's like, I wish I had a way to like, filter that. And so that kind of like prompted the idea like, well, what if we just went to every episode? It was like, there's three or five things that like you've said today that I can just go, here's what I learned from Amy Wester. Like, here's one thing. And then the next episode, here's the next thing. And then you put that into the series on YouTube and gives owners, something to follow where they can just get these little quick clips of like, you know what? I could do that too. Like, that's a great idea. Like there's a dude down in, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Christian Williams, Sugo restaurant. This guy, he's got like, he gets plugged into the local, what they call like micro influencers. So like Instagram influencers in Tuscaloosa. And he goes and he finds who those people are and he DMs them and he's like, hey, I've got this new menu item that we're rolling out. Come on in. I'll hook you up like on the house. All I'm asking is for like an honest, like make a video. And I'm not asking you to praise it. I want you to just make a video about it. I don't want you to script it. I'm not telling you what to say. This dude's got some new menu item, Amy, coming out, and he's got like 125 local, this is Tuscaloosa. This is University of Alabama. I bet a lot of them are college students or whatever they are, but it's like local influencers that are going to come in. He's going to feed them and they're all going to make videos, say whatever they say. And then whoosh, that stuff starts, like again, repeatable, actionable, I mean, that I'd say that's not free because he's giving away free food. So I can't say that's a free thing you can do, but cool idea, so that's what we're really
Yeah,
trying to
it's
start doing.
definitely an avenue that we have not really explored that I think we could and should.
There's lots of things you can do with it. You just have to be deliberate and like plan it and just be, and it's one thing my daughter told me. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this series and we're going to have like one thing I learned from. And she goes, Dad, that's cool, but you better be consistent. Like, that's what really matters is consistent. Like, you can't just like throw them out there every now and then. So, like, I went in and I was like, okay, so I'm going to do them like Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Like, I'm going to do 3 a week and just try to be really consistent about it and just so that people know, people know that it's
Yeah.
coming. Then the algorithms start picking up like, okay, this is something it's consistent, and then they start putting it in front of people. So that was one of the things she told me. She's like, if you're not consistent, nobody's gonna ever see it because their
Right.
algorithm won't put it out there.
Right.
All right. So anyway, uh,
Yeah.
oh well, we did it. Look at us, another hour episode.
Oh man.
Uh,
It felt like a week.
Great conversation. Yeah, yeah. Y'all are awesome. I've got to get back by there. It's been a while. We come. Hopefully, we'll be coming again this year. We try to get our family of 5 tries to get to the Biltmore every year, sometime like, during the Christmas season. So, um,
Well, let me know.
we'll get by Biscuit Head. Yeah. Well, tell everybody, okay, where do they find you? Where's your website? What's the best place to find you?
Our website is biscuitheads with an S.com.
Biscuitheads.com. Who does your website? Did y'all build it or did you use somebody local?
We had Lauren Vida, who is a longtime friend of Carolyn's.
Okay.
I think I don't want to misquote it, but Lauren Vida had made our website, and she maintains it for us and does a lot of our designing, or almost all of our designs.
Okay. She does a
Um,
good job.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good
we're
site.
really happy with it. And then, so we have the 3 in Asheville. We do DoorDash out of 2 of our locations, uh, South Asheville and our Greenville location. We do Kickback out of all of our Asheville locations.
What's Kickback?
It's like DoorDash, but it's a local company out of Asheville.
Okay.
Love them. They are amazing people. Um, and so we like to use local delivery company versus a national corporate.
Yeah, it's a big difference between DoorDash and Kickback, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, what about I'm glad to hear there's one that's able to make it. Do y'all have a loyalty program?
We do. We have since moved from punch cards to electronic. So now everyone that comes in can link a card or put in their phone number and it tracks it. And then it's on a point system and you get a free meal after so many points.
Who's the loyalty program provider?
Toast.
Who Toast? Okay.
Yeah. Who is our POS. So.
Yeah. I'll talk to you about Toast offline. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna Oh, great, Toast. Uh, we love you, but I have some thoughts. But no, they have a great point of sale. Actually, I will say this. I hope they'll do this. I hope every POS does this. Okay. Well, like I'm obsessed with this. It's what the concept of pay it forward is, right?
Hmm.
Um, I went to a coffee shop in Raleigh years ago, and in that coffee shop, right on the wall, right next to the register, was a big giant chalkboard, and it said "Pay it forward," and it had like dollar amounts and names on this thing, and I'm like, "All right, I'll bite. What's the story here?" And the young lady at the cashier said, at the register said, "Well, you can give us cash." And write down how much cash, like let's say you want to give us $5, you can write down $5 and you can say, who can use that $5? You can write anybody. And then anybody that comes in that just wants to use $5 for their drink. You can write on duty police officer. You can write somebody named Amy, mom with a stroller, whatever you want to write. And then we'll honor that criteria. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I gave her $5. I sat in the coffee shop and I watched people coming in during the day. And like, you'd see when people would they would explain it and somebody'd be like, yeah. And they would take they would use them. And I went up like 3 times. I was like sitting over there quietly watching and I would put more money and put in you know, customer wearing a black t-shirt or whatever it was. If they saw somebody with a black t-shirt, they're like, hey, you got a black t-shirt. You want to, it's the coolest thing ever. And from that day, this is pre-COVID. I think it's like 2018, 2019, but I've been obsessed with how do you The reason that worked is because you're literally staring at this chalkboard. You can't help but see it, and therefore it prompts the conversation. Tell me about this. Therefore, it prompts the transaction. My thought has always been, why don't point of sale companies build in a pay it forward piece? And the big challenge is like, well, okay, do I add to my ticket or like, but then one day at my coffee shop here in Waxhaw, where I go all the time, I got loyalty points to the point they said, you got 50 points where you have $5 off. And I was like, okay. So I've just got credit, right? They're like, yeah. Do you want to apply it to your order? I'm like, sure. Where it would be really cool is if they said, do you want to apply it to your order or would you like to pay it forward? What do you mean pay it forward? Well, if you don't want to use it for yourself, you can leave that credit to us and we'll use it on somebody, and you can even give us the criteria or whatever, or just leave it for anybody. And then maybe a mom with a screaming kid in a stroller comes in that looks stressed out and we can buy her coffee for her. That to me, that would be so badass, and it would be such a great way for small businesses to have something really unique that they could offer to their customers. It would create awareness. It would create positive vibes. It would create really good feelings. And I guarantee it would create a whole lot of people winding up getting their coffee or their biscuit bought for them, because there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I mean, cool. I'll take the coffee. I'll take the $5. But if I was asked to pay it forward every time, pay it forward, give it to somebody else. I'd do that all day long, and there's a lot of people that would too. And then you've got people that have these surprise moments. You come in there, you look like, oh gosh, boy, does this guy look sad? Looks like he just came from a funeral. Hey, sir, you just ordered this, $5 macchiato. We got it for you. Or, hey, you know your biscuit? How about we take care of that for you? What do you mean? Oh, we have this pay it forward thing. Makes that person's day, and guess what that person's going to do the next time they come in, and they're going to be like, "Nah, pay that forward." You know what I mean? Am I
I love that.
crazy, or do you think that's like a real idea?
I love the idea of being able to do it for regular people. Now, we used to do something called Classics for a Cause, that
Mhm.
anybody could buy a classic. And then, anytime we had a good amount, we would reach out to the hospitals or the firemen or the police department. And it was all the first responders. I mean, this was, during COVID, but we would tally up how many people have bought, and then we would donate it to one of them. And we started on the bottom floor of the hospital and worked our way up to the top of the hospital. But that's kind of the same idea, as anybody could come in and buy a classic for a cause, and then we would just keep a running tally and then give it out. But I love the idea of being able to use it for everyday people.
Yeah, I think okay, cool. I am like obsessed with this thing. I like really want to try to figure out how to get, because the point of sale systems I think are the key with all this stuff, because there's so many that they have these loyalty programs. So
That would be really cool to be able to, or, I mean, people have gift cards and you have, $1.50 left on it. Can you gift it?
pay that forward. Here you go. Yep.
Because otherwise it just sits on the gift card and it dies.
Yep. Yep. All
So I
right.
think that would be awesome to be able to do.
So I'm not crazy.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Not with
I
that
am
idea.
crazy, but it's easy to have ideas when you're not in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool for me to say that as a consumer, but the question is like, for the restaurant owner. And there's things that like you got to make sure, like, okay, well, is this going to hold up the line, or is the customer going to be like, well, how do I know my credit's going to, like there's stuff like that you have to overcome. But I think as a like big picture, you figure out the logistics and the operational issues. But
Yeah, no, I love the idea. I mean, so many people get free stuff who are known or, have clout places, but we like to do stuff for the everyday person who doesn't normally get that A+, star treatment. Like, I think it, it's, it, I don't know. It's just a lot more fun to do it that way.
yeah, I love it. Perfect. Okay. That gives me more fuel. It's like a long-term goal of mine, but if I could get one point of sale company to do it to start with, I bet they'll
Yeah.
wind up doing it eventually.
Yeah.
All right, Amy, I appreciate you. So what do you use Spotify or Apple Podcast, or like where will you listen to this episode?
Probably Apple Podcast.
Okay. Do me a favor. When you open up your Apple Podcasts, I may have told you this last time. You may have already done this, or I may have asked you this last time. But if you haven't done it, give us a 5-star rating, because the
I
more
don't know. I
ratings,
don't think I did.
the more ratings we get, the more that algorithm goes, oh, people like this content, and the more they put this content in front of more people.
Okay.
And you want a lot of people to hear your awesome story and your great
Do
advice.
I really though?
Yes, and tell everybody else there at Biscuit Heads, we need 5-star
No.
ratings. We need
Okay.
ratings. The more people will hear your story.
Okay, fine.
All right. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate y'all. You're a great audience. What a great episode. More of these coming soon. And all of you out there listening, I say this every time. If just one of you does this right now, be the one. Just go give us a 5-star rating. We appreciate y'all. Have a good one, and we will talk again soon, everybody. See ya.